Your brain has a natural off switch for stress and anxiety that you can learn to control. Today, we're going to show you how to find it. You've probably felt it, that feeling of being overwhelmed, your mind racing with 1,000 thoughts, constantly pulled between the past and the future. You've tried to just relax, but the chaos inside keeps spinning. What if the solution wasn't to fight the storm, but to find the calm in the eye of it? Welcome to Wealth Sync. In this special deep dive, we are exploring the science of mindfulness. We're going beyond the buzzwords to give you a practical, neuroscience-backed guide to rewiring your brain. We'll show you how a simple shift in your attention can physically change your brain's structure, turning down the volume on your stress response and turning up your capacity for focus and peace. For this journey, I am joined by the WealthSync AI, which has synthesized decades of research on this powerful practice.
It is a pleasure to be here. The data is clear. Mindfulness is not a mystical art, it is a form of practical mental training. My analysis of the research shows that it is one of the most effective tools we have for taking back control of our own mental state.
So, let's start with a clear definition. We hear the word mindfulness everywhere, but what does it actually mean from a scientific perspective?
At its core, mindfulness is simply the practice of paying attention to the present moment, on purpose, without judgment. It's a form of mental training designed to break our default programming of being lost in thought.
And that's a key distinction, isn't it? It's not about stopping your thought or emptying your mind.
That is the most common misconception. The goal is not to stop the river of thought, but to learn how to sit on the bank and watch it flow by without being swept away by it. It is the gentle, repeated act of noticing that your mind has wandered and kindly guiding your attention back to the present, usually to the physical sensation of your breath.
So it's a practice, a mental workout, which means it must be physically changing the brain. Let's talk about the neuroscience. What is actually happening inside our heads when we practice mindfulness?
The research in this area is profound, and it centers on the concept of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. Consistent mindfulness practice has been shown to physically change the structure and function of the brain in several key ways.
Let's start with stress and anxiety. How does it affect our brain's alarm system?
It directly impacts the amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for the fight-or-flight response. Neuroimaging studies have shown that after regular mindfulness practice, the gray matter density in the amygdala can decrease. This means the brain's alarm bell becomes less reactive, you don't get triggered as easily, and when you do, you recover more quickly.
So it's literally making our brains less anxious. And I understand it also strengthens the part of our brain that helps us regulate our emotions and think clearly.
Precisely. The practice strengthens the prefrontal cortex, which is the CEO of your brain, responsible for executive functions like emotional regulation and wise decision-making. Mindfulness practice increases the neural connections to the prefrontal cortex and from the prefrontal cortex to the amygdala. This gives your CEO a stronger calming influence over your alarm system.
So you're not just getting better at calming down, you're building a brain that is structurally better at staying calm in the first place.
That is the correct conclusion. You are physically reshaping your brain for greater mental peace.
So we've seen how mindfulness can physically change the brain to be less reactive and more focused. This all sounds incredible in theory, but how do we actually put it into practice? What does this mental workout look like?
There are many established techniques, but we can start with two of the most effective and accessible. The first is a cornerstone of modern mindfulness practice, often called the 3-minute breathing space. It's a powerful way to step out of autopilot mode and reconnect with the present moment.
And this is the 3-minute trick we hinted at in the beginning.
Precisely. It consists of 3 simple steps, each lasting about a minute. The first step is acknowledging. You simply check in with yourself and ask, what is my experience right now? Notice your thoughts, your feelings, and your body sensations without judgment. The second step is gathering. You gently narrow your focus of attention to the physical sensations of the breath, feeling the air move in and out of your body. This acts as an anchor to the present. The final step is expanding. You expand your awareness from the breath to include the entire body, feeling the sensations of your body as a whole, and then gently expanding that awareness to the space around you.
That's a fantastic, structured exercise. I hope you found that calming. For more, please like and subscribe to Wealth Sync. We've linked some of our favorite meditation tech in the description. Now, let's get back to it. But what if you're in a stressful meeting or in public and can't close your eyes for 3 minutes? Is there a more subtle technique we can use?
Yes. That is where the concept of the mindful anchor becomes incredibly useful. An anchor is any physical sensation you can use to bring your awareness back to the present moment. When you feel your mind starting to spiral into anxiety or worry,
So instead of focusing on the breath, you could focus on something else?
exactly. The science behind this is that it shifts your brain's activity from the abstract, narrative-driven default mode network, where worrying happens, to the parts of your brain that process concrete sensory information. It forces you out of your head and into your body.
So, what are some good examples of a mindful anchor?
The simplest and most effective anchors are often the most overlooked. You can focus on the feeling of your feet flat on the floor, the sense of pressure, temperature, and solid connection to the ground. Or you can focus on the sensation of your hands touching, the texture of your skin, the warmth, the gentle pressure.
So, by simply shifting your attention to a physical sensation, you can effectively drop anchor and stop your mind from being swept away by the storm of anxiety.
That is a perfect summary. It is a simple, discreet, and powerful technique you can use anytime, anywhere to find your center.
So, the science is clear. Mindfulness is not some vague, mystical concept. It is a direct and powerful way to reshape our brains and reclaim our attention from the chaos of modern life.
That is correct, and it is a testament to the brain's incredible capacity for change. The evidence shows that through this simple, consistent practice, you are not just managing stress, you are building a brain that is fundamentally more resilient, focused, and calm.
Let's quickly summarize the key takeaways for our audience. First, mindfulness is simply the act of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It's not about stopping your thoughts. It's about changing your relationship to your thoughts.
Second, this practice physically changes your brain. It can calm the amygdala, your brain's alarm system, and strengthen your prefrontal cortex, your brain's CEO, giving you greater control over your emotions and attention.
And finally, the tools are simple and accessible to everyone. Whether it's the structured 3-minute breathing space or the discreet, mindful anchor of feeling your feet on the floor, you have the power to bring yourself back to the present moment, anytime, anywhere. This is about more than just stress relief. It's about taking back control. It's about moving from a life lived on autopilot to one that is lived with intention.
You are the architect of your own inner world. Mindfulness is simply one of the most powerful tools in your toolkit.
Now that you have the tools to build a more mindful present, the next step is to use that clarity to build a better future. To learn how, be sure to check out our deep dive on the science of habits right here.